Welcome to Tech Trends. Today we're talking with Bob Roos with TM Television. Welcome, Bob.
Thanks, Taylor. Nice to be here.
So I want to hear about these great technologies. Storage has been top of my mind, and I have a feeling that you've got some great insights on that subject. Well, Bob, in my office, I have all different types of storage, and I have all different types of files. I have got video files and documents and photos and all sorts of things that I'm trying to keep together, whether it's on a flash drive or a terabyte drive. I have a feeling you've got some great ideas to remedy this.
Well, we do. And one of the things you probably run into is you might have shared storage in your office, which is great for office files, documents, scripts, and things. And it'll even hold video files. But when you try to play those video files back, they may stumble and stutter, which is not what we want. And then if you have USB drives scattered around, you probably have dozens and dozens of them, and you're getting more every week. It becomes a nightmare trying to manage all of these different hard drives that are scattered all over your office.
So as a content creator, what types of advantages could there be to using this storage solution?
Well, we're doing this as a profession. We're not doing it as a hobby. So we want to make the most efficient use of our time because everyone knows the most expensive asset in an organization is its employees. You don't want your employees sitting there waiting for files to copy across a slow network. You want them to be editing or producing or logging or doing something with the file that's not wasting their time doing something inefficient. Today we're going to talk about Editshare. Editshare is a manufacturer in the media and entertainment vertical that makes professional storage solutions and workflow for video editing applications.
What makes Editshare different from other storage manufacturers?
Well, the Editshare, the thing that makes it different is the EFS, Editshare File System. What it is it lays on top of common storage. There's a lot of storage systems out there, and they mainly consist of a chassis with drives and an operating system. But Editshare's file system is software-defined storage. It can scale from a single drive array up to 5 petabytes of storage.
Okay, now, Bob, that sounds complicated. It sounds like I need to call in my IT team to help us manage all of this. Do we need that level of expertise?
No, we don't. You know, in back years ago, everyone had an engineer on staff. But we know you just can't afford to have that anymore. And the tools have progressed so much over the years that it's not really a requirement. Editshare gives you an easy-to-use administrative interface so you can set up users, you can set up workspaces, you can even go down and get so granular that you can say, you're not able to edit in this area, but this person can, and this person is not allowed to see the files over here if you want to be that granular.
So then how secure actually is Editshare?
It's very secure. You can use Active Directory, single sign-on. You can lock it down really tightly if you want to. And also there's a audit feature in Editshare. So you can see who added a file, who deleted a file, who moved a file, so that if you want to point fingers, you get all the tools that you want to do that.
All right. And then what about operating systems? My team primarily uses Apple and Mac, Windows. How does it work?
There are native drivers for all of those popular OSs. It definitely works with Apple, works with Windows, works with Linux. All of those are approved.
Okay, and then what about speed? 4K, what types of systems can it work with?
So that's where I have to do some homework. When I come into your facility, I'll ask you how many editors are going to be working at one time? What video resolutions are you working on? What kind of programs do you do? Are they like layer intensive? Do you have dozens of pictures flying around? Or are you more of a storyteller, which just cuts and dissolves pretty much throughout it? And I'll take that and I'll do some calculations and figure out how many drives we need to make sure that you're not dropping frames that you're able to play back your video seamlessly.
So Bob, does Editshare have any choices when it comes to size and capacity?
Yes, they start small with work groups that have systems as small as 12 drives that scale up to larger systems. With an entry-level system, you can start about 24 terabyte and scale up to 250. The medium size scales up to a petabyte, and then their scale-out systems go up to 5 petabytes.
That's great in terms of storage. Now, I personally use Adobe Premiere. How can I interface Premiere with Editshare?
That's another great thing about Editshare, and that's what Nathan is going to show us here in a little bit. But Editshare has interfaces and panels, so to speak, for Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, Media Composer, and several other edit systems.
We have a gigabit network in our office. Would that work?
Well, it'll work for HD, but when you start getting into the higher resolutions, 4K, unless it's highly compressed, I've been putting in 10 gig networks for the last couple years. And in some cases, I've been even putting in 25 gigabit networks with 100 gig backplanes. With those, you can support hundreds of users if you need to.
So a lot of times, though, Bob, I am remote. I'm not always in the office. What about the cloud?
Well, that's where Editshare has a place. And the cloud has so many different definitions today. Editshare can interface with the cloud if you want to use it as a secondary location. They have connections to all the popular cloud solutions, but you can also build your own cloud with Editshare. We can turn your facility into a private cloud, or you can even deploy the EFS into the AWS data centers, and you can have a true cloud solution.
Now, this really sounds great for my editors and producers, but what about the rest of my creative team?
Well, Editshare in every system you get includes a product that they sell or manufacture that's called Flow. Flow is an asset management system, and what that does is it extends the creative process beyond the edit suite. Every organization has producers, media managers, and other people who need to access the material, and even people who need to review and approve it. Say the legal department needs to review it, and they don't want to have a copy of Premiere, Resolve, or Media Composer. They want to just open a browser. So Flow gives you the tools to be able to send proxies out to these individuals so that they can contribute to the creative process without having to learn heavy editorial tools.
So Flow with Editshare sounds pretty complete. Is there anything else as part of the system?
Yes, Editshare has thought about managing the complete life cycle of your media. So in addition to storage, they also have an archive system called ARC that they included. They also have APIs with third-party manufacturers so that you can use other archive solutions, transcode solutions. They include automated workflows in their process too.
This is great. Thank you so much, Bob. How about we turn it over to Nathan at Editshare?
Thank you both, and thank you TM Television for having us on today. It's great to be with you. As Bob mentioned, we at Editshare have many shared storage options, starting from smaller single chassis systems that can grow and expand into multi-petabyte enterprise class systems with high availability and no single point of failure options. With ArcTape and Flow MAM, we can also provide a comprehensive production storage, MAM, and archive solution from a single vendor. With our EFSV product line, we can also virtualize this entire system in cloud, which is becoming a popular option in these challenging times. Regardless of your EFS and Flow system being a traditional on-prem hardware-based system or a cloud-hosted virtualized system, the same tools exist in Flow to provide some remote workflows that have become indispensable in today's production environments. Today, I would like to focus on our Airflow and Flow panel tools. These are two of the available interfaces for working with your EFS and Flow system. Let's start with Airflow. Using the Airflow Web UI interface, a user can browse their storage. They can also search their storage. Working with proxy files, a user can play the files, update metadata on a single asset, perform bulk updates of metadata, add markers to clips. Later, we'll see these markers transfer into our edit software. We also have a special type of marker for review and approve workflows. During our Flow panel demo, we'll see these used again. A user can also start a project directly from the Airflow Web UI. Folders or bins can be created inside of the project. Assets can be added directly to the project's root or to one of the bins in the project. Multiple items can be added at the same time. Remember, these assets can live on an LTO tape. They can also live in cloud storage. It doesn't matter to us right now because we're just working with the proxies. A user can mark in, mark out, click plus, and create subclips. Again, a great way for a producer to start pulling their selects before this goes to edit. A user can also create a sequence right in the Airflow web UI. Subclips can be dragged into a sequence. Entire clips can also be added to a sequence as well. Users can collaborate and share their sequence with another user. Clips can be rearranged or removed from a sequence. And of course, markers can be inserted on the sequence as well. So all of your storage, not only your production storage, but your tape backups, as well as your cloud storage, can be accessed through this simple web UI. All of this data goes into a centralized database that can be accessed by other users using any of the Flow utilities. Now let's take a look at the Flow panel. Our Flow panel puts some of the features of Flow directly inside of your NLE. And again, we have the same panel for both Premiere as well as Resolve. A user can browse or search for footage. That clip can then be previewed directly in the panel. Just like Airflow, this panel can be used over a VPN or an open port on the firewall. In the case of working remotely, when the storage isn't mounted, a user can import by downloading the proxy files directly to their local machine. And again, because these are timecode accurate and frame rate accurate, using them for edit is a seamless process. In the case where the EFS storage is mounted, such as working on site, both the high-res asset and the proxy file can be imported at the same time. These files are then linked in your editor. This allows a user the ability to toggle between the proxy file and the high-res file. For instance, if we zoom in here, we see this is the proxy, there's the high-res file. Again, because of the frame rate and timecode accuracy, it's a seamless process. If we were to add markers to the sequence here in our editor, those markers can be published back into Flow. Going back to the Flow panel, we have an upload function that allows us to share this sequence back into Flow. We can choose our Flow project. We could make this version 2 of an existing sequence, or we can create a new sequence. In this case, I'm going to choose to export and convert my timeline markers to those review and approve markers we saw in Flow. I'll click Upload, and my sequence gets published to the Flow server. Switching back to Airflow, another user could browse into the project. They would see the sequence we've exported from Adobe, and they could watch that sequence. The sequence markers from our editor were published into Flow. So under the Markers tab, we see our Review and Approve markers. These can be approved or not. Additional descriptions can be added, and reviewers can even insert new markers. Switching back to our Flow panel and browsing to our project, we can re-import those Review and Approve markers that were added in Airflow. You'll see these populate the timeline right away. This is one way to have a review and approve workflow with all users working remotely and stay within the Flow ecosystem. In the event that we're working remotely and we start the edit just by downloading the proxies, we could edit with those files. Then later when the storage is mounted, or if we sent our project back to base, a user could use the relink function to simply reconnect to the high-res assets. When I click Apply Changes, my sequence is conformed back to the source material. As a reminder, the remote workflows and tools we just saw are available with our traditional on-prem EFS systems, as well as our cloud-hosted EFSV system. And these are tools that work right out of the box without any customization. As Bob mentioned, using our APIs for EFS and Flow, there are many other possibilities for customizing workflows and integrating with other third-party tools that you may rely on. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. Stay healthy and safe, and please reach out to Bob and the rest of the amazing TM crew to find out more about Editshare or to book a demo. And we look forward to working with you.
This is all really helpful, Bob. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
TM Television has been an Editshare partner since 2007. We've installed dozens of Editshare systems throughout the region. If any questions have come up while you've watched this video that we can help you with, please let us know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bob Roos with TM Television. We appreciate your time, and we will see you next time on Tech Trends.